Ladies, let me tell you something. A man who wants you is not confused. He's not unsure. He's not figuring things out. He's not too busy. He's not stuck in his past. He's not waiting for the right time. And he sure as hell isn't playing hot and cold like a faulty switchboard. If he's doing all that, he's just not into you. Now, I know that's hard to swallow. I know you've made excuses for him. He's going through something. He needs time. He told me he's never felt like this before. And girl, I get it. You've built castles in your mind with a man who never even brought bricks. But let's get real today. Let's cut the fluff. Because your time, your heart, your dreams, they are not experiments for a man to test while he plays house with your emotions. If a man wants you, you will know. Not from guessing, not from decoding mixed signals, not from chasing crumbs of affection. You'll know because you will feel secure. You will feel seen. You will feel chosen, not tolerated, not shelved, not someday, and definitely not ghosted, breadcrumbed, or benched while he gives the best of himself to someone else. Let me say this loud for the woman in the back. Consistency is not a luxury. It is a requirement. If he's inconsistent, unavailable, or keeps leaving you more anxious than adored, then it's not love. It's confusion, but only on your end. Because on his end, he's already made his choice. You're just not the one he wants bad enough. And I don't say that to break you. I say that to wake you. Because the moment you stop explaining a man's lack of effort, the moment you stop writing love letters to his potential, the moment you stop begging for closure from someone who never gave you clarity, that's the moment you reclaim your dignity. That's the moment you stop waiting and start walking. That's the moment you remember who the hell you are. You are not a backup plan. You are not a late night option. You are not some unfinished business he gets to revisit when his first, second, and third choices don't work out. You are the table, the feast, the invitation, and the guest of honor. So why are you letting someone seat you at the kid's table of his life? Why are you waiting for a man to suddenly realize your value when God already called you fearfully and wonderfully made? Let me break this down for you. If he wanted you, you'd be the one he texts first, not the one left on read. You'd be the one he shows off, not the secret he hides. You'd be the one he protects, not the one he stresses. You'd be the one he builds with, not the one he drains. Because when a real man is ready, when he sees you, when he recognizes your worth, he moves. Not with just words, not with future fables, not with borrowed time and recycled romance. He moves with intention, with effort, with clarity, with presence. But if you're stuck explaining his silence to your friends, if you're second-guessing your worth, every time he disappears and reappears like a magic trick, that's not love. That's emotional limbo. That's a performance. That's what happens when you're cast in a role you were never meant to audition for. Sis, stop giving leading lady energy to a background character. Stop praying for God to change a man's heart when all the signs show you his heart is elsewhere. God is not in the business of confusion. God does not send maybes. He sends confirmation, peace, and purpose. But sometimes you can't hear God's direction because you're too focused on a man who doesn't even call you back. Now let's be real. It's not just about the man. It's about what you've been taught to accept. You were raised to be loyal, ride or die, prove your worth. Hold him down while he figures it out. But baby, while you're holding him down, who's holding you? Who's loving you with certainty? Who's pursuing you with purpose? Who's speaking your name in rooms you've never entered? Because real love doesn't come with confusion. It comes with confirmation. You don't have to beg the right man to stay. You don't have to water yourself down to be chosen. You don't have to shrink your shine to fit into his dim little world. You are not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong man, the man who's really into you. He won't confuse you. He won't hurt you, then heal you, then hurt you again. He won't treat you like a placeholder. He'll show up consistently because he wants to, not because you begged, cried, threatened to leave, or turned into someone you're not. That man will make it known. He will pursue you without pride. He will love you without fear. And most importantly, he will not confuse you. And no, it's not that he's just not ready, because men move mountains for what they want, even when they're broke, healing, or not ready. If a man wanted to, he would, point blank, period. Let me tell you something powerful. Your presence alone is a blessing. You carry peace. You bring favor. You multiply everything you touch. You are the kind of woman who shifts atmospheres. So if he can't recognize that, release him. Don't chase him. Don't cry for him. Don't stay stuck in the cycle of what if. Instead, turn inward. Build your heal the parts of you that thought you had to work for love. Pour into the woman who forgot she was the prize. Because here's the truth. A man who is truly into you will not risk losing you. He will not play games. He will not come and go like a seasonal sailor. He will not say, I miss you, but never make plans. He will not breadcrumb you while dining with someone else. When a man sees your light, really sees it, he will fight to be in your life. Not someday, not maybe, not. And listen, I know how hard it is to walk away from someone you love, but staying with someone who doesn't love you back, that's harder. So today is the day you stop romanticizing confusion. Stop overanalyzing the 3 a.m. text. Stop rereading the messages like they're Shakespeare. Stop replaying the memories like they're proof of his potential. And start looking at the evidence, the inconsistency, the excuses, the emotional unavailability, the gaslighting, the lack of effort, the silence that screams louder than words ever could. That is your closure, because a man who wants you will not keep you guessing. He will call, he will show up, he will make space, he will make you feel chosen, not tolerated, desired, not drained, respected, not used. He's not confused, sis. He knows what he's doing. And now, so do you. So lift your head, fix your crown, reclaim your time, and walk like the woman who finally stopped explaining herself to someone who was never listening. You were never too much. He was just not enough. You don't need a text back. You don't need closure. You don't need him to finally realize what he lost, because what's coming next in your life will make you forget you ever cried over him. What's coming next is peace. What's coming next is clarity. What's coming next is a man who doesn't leave you wondering, because he already knows you're the one. So stop waiting for him to act right and start walking like you already know you deserve better, because you do. And deep down, you always have. You've always had the intuition, the voice in your gut that whispered, this isn't love. You've always had the power to walk away, but you were waiting for a sign. So let this be your sign. Let this moment be the moment you decide you're not shrinking anymore. You're not bending until you break. You're not dimming your fire just to make him comfortable, because the right man won't ask you to extinguish your flame. He'll protect it. He'll sit by it. He'll warm his soul by your fire and say, I've never seen a woman burn this bright, and I want to honor it. But the wrong one, he'll watch you burn and then blame you for the ashes. So stop handing your heart to men who don't know how to hold it. Stop gifting your softness to people who only understand hardness. Stop leaking love in places that only drain you. There is power in letting go. There is freedom in walking away. There is clarity in silence. There is healing in the no. You whisper to yourself as you choose you over and over again. Because here's the truth, sis. Your value isn't up for debate. Your worth doesn't rise and fall based on who stays and who leaves. You were whole before him, and you'll be whole after him. You are not the half waiting to be completed. You are the whole blessing waiting to be received by someone who's ready. Not someone you have to convince. Not someone you have to fix. Not someone you have to keep teaching how to love you. You deserve love that's mature, love that's intentional, love that doesn't leave you anxious every time your phone buzzes, love that doesn't silence you or shame you, love that doesn't rely on your trauma to survive. You deserve a love that knows your worth and treats you like it. So stop over-functioning in relationships that underdeliver. Stop performing. Stop auditioning. Stop waiting for someone to wake up and suddenly see you. You are not invisible. You've just been looking for visibility in the wrong direction. And listen, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to cry. It's okay to sit in that moment and feel the sting of realization. Because the truth is, letting go isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. It's calm. It's that still moment when your heart finally says enough. It's that breath you take when you stop chasing, stop proving, stop pleading, and finally just breathe. That's the moment your healing begins. That's the moment your rebirth starts. That's the moment you stop being the woman who waits and become the woman who walk toward the life that's waiting for you. Walk toward the version of you that's not afraid anymore. Walk toward the woman who doesn't chase closure because she became it. And let me tell you something. When you rise like that, when you evolve like that, when you finally glow in peace, not pain, he'll notice. He always does. But by then, it won't matter, because you'll no longer want a seat at a table where you once had to beg to be fed. You'll no longer crave the attention of someone who only saw your worth and peace. You'll have built your own table, with your own peace, with your own joy, with your own God-given power. You will rise not because of revenge, but because of revelation. You'll understand that sometimes God closes doors, not to punish you, but to protect you. You'll understand that love is not meant to break you, confuse you, or destroy your confidence. It is meant to elevate, to honor, to restore. So here's what I want you to do now. Stop scrolling through his page. Stop checking if he watched your story. Stop hoping he'll come back different. Start becoming different. Start healing. Start building. Start loving yourself so fiercely that you don't even flinch when the wrong man walks away, because the woman who knows her worth is not shaken by rejection. She's redirected. She doesn't beg. She simply blesses and releases and keeps it moving, because her peace is too expensive to gamble on confusion. And sis, that's who you're becoming. The woman who stopped asking, why didn't he choose me? And started declaring, I choose my. The woman who stopped calling it love when it was really just trauma in disguise. The woman who stopped clinging to potential and started demanding reality. The woman who finally looked in the mirror and said, I am enough. Not later, not someday, not when he wakes up, right now. So let him go. Let the confusion go. Let the fantasy go. Let the questions go. And let yourself rise. Because the woman who rises after heartbreak, she's unstoppable. She's radiant. She's wise. And the next time someone comes into her life, she won't have to ask, is he into me? Because the real ones, they don't confuse you. They choose you. Clearly, loudly, fully. And that, my love, is the only kind of love you ever deserve. You know, it's even more powerful than being chosen. Choosing yourself. Choosing yourself when it's not easy. When the silence is loud, when your mind replays every good moment like a movie, but you're left sitting through the credits alone. Choosing yourself even when your heart still whispers his name in the dark. That is real strength. It's the kind of strength no one applauds because it doesn't always look glamorous. It looks like deleted messages, like blocked numbers, like nights crying into a pillow, followed by mornings where you rise anyway. It looks like walking past places that used to hold memories, now holding your breath and your head up at the same time. It's not pretty, but it's power. Because there's a version of you on the other side of this pain that's untouchable. A version that doesn't tolerate bare minimum love. A version that doesn't find comfort in chaos. A version that no longer needs validation from someone who couldn't even meet you halfway. You're becoming her. The woman who doesn't break when someone walks away because she no longer builds her life on their presence. She builds it on purpose. She builds it on peace. She builds it on the promise that what is truly meant for her will never require her to lose herself. And yes, you will be tempted to go back, tempted by the familiar, tempted by the empty apologies, tempted by the hope that maybe this time he means it. But listen to me, if you have to go back to confusion, it was never home to begin with. If it costs you your peace, your sleep, your confidence, your clarity, it is too expensive. You are not a rehab center for broken men. You are not a project. You are not a life raft for someone drowning in indecision. You are a woman, a whole woman, and you deserve a man who doesn't just admire your strength, but matches it. So here's the question. Are you really waiting for love, or are you avoiding healing? Because sometimes we don't actually miss the person. We miss the idea. We miss who we thought they could be. We miss the feeling of almost. But almost is not love. Almost is where people stay stuck replaying the beginning, stuck rewriting the ending, stuck in an emotional waiting room while life keeps passing by. But you're not staying stuck. You're getting up. You're dusting off every lie he told you, every moment he made you question your worth, every second he made you feel replaceable, and you're turning it into power, because healing doesn't mean you never loved him. It means you finally love yourself more. It means you understand that love without respect isn't love, that chemistry without commitment isn't enough, that attraction without action is manipulation in disguise. You're not a maybe. You're not a second thought. You're not an option he rotates on his free weekends. You are a one of one. And if he couldn't see that, it's because he never had the capacity to hold it. Let him go. Let him keep scrolling through women he'll never emotionally connect with, while you evolve into a woman he'll never get access to again. That's the glow up, not the revenge body, not the Instagram captions, not the fake smiles at events he might see you at. The real glow up is peace. It's waking up without wondering if you're enough. It's going to sleep without rereading messages for signs. It's finding joy in your own damn company. It's dancing alone in your kitchen to to songs that used to break you, and now they just bounce off your healed spirit. Because you're not broken, you're breaking cycles. Cycles of silence, cycles of settling, cycles of shrinking, cycles of romanticizing inconsistency. You're cutting it all off and choosing freedom instead. And I know it feels lonely at first, but that loneliness, that silence, it's not emptiness, it's space. It's space for the right things to find you, space for clarity, space for better friendships, space for purpose, space for the kind of love that doesn't come with confusion, only peace. And when that love finds you, you'll know, because you won't have to chase it. You won't have to wonder. You won't have to beg. It will show up calm, consistent, and clear. Until then, pour into yourself. Take yourself on dates. Write your own love letters. Speak to yourself like you matter, because you do. Fall in love with your own growth. Because here's what happens when you stop chasing men who confuse you. You start attracting the life that fulfills you. You start walking differently. You start speaking with conviction. You start laughing from a place that no longer carries weight. You become magnetic, not because you're trying, but because you finally remembered who you are, and the world notices. He will notice, but by then, you won't need his attention, because you'll be busy giving yourself the kind of love you once begged for. And baby, that kind of power, that kind of freedom, it's priceless. So let him think you're hard to love. Let him think you're too much. Let him tell the next woman how you were different. You are different. You're the one who got away, the one who chose herself, the one who never begged, the one who turned heartbreak into wholeness, the one who said he's not confused, he's just not for me. And that clarity, that's where your new story begins. That's where your new story begins. The story where you stop asking for permission to be loved the way you deserve. The story where you no longer let temporary people write permanent pain into your heart. The story where you stop confusing attachment with alignment, because from now on, if it costs your peace, it's not your pain. There's a version of you waiting on the other side of this heartbreak that doesn't flinch when someone leaves. She doesn't chase. She doesn't explain. She doesn't water herself down to make anyone stay. She doesn't need to, because now she knows anything she has to beg for will never be real love. And any man who makes her question herself is already giving her the answer she's been avoiding. This version of you, she's dangerous in the best way. Dangerous to men who rely on confusion to keep you close. Dangerous to cycles that need your silence to survive. Dangerous to any narrative that says you must earn the love you already deserve by existing. And let's be real for a second. You already know this. You already feel the shift. You've outgrown the guessing game. You've outgrown the shallow connections, the half efforts, the endless waiting. You've outgrown building your self-worth on someone's shaky intentions. So why are you still holding on? Because he gave you a few good memories? So what? Don't confuse history with destiny. Yes, you laughed. Yes, you felt butterflies. Yes, it had potential, but love without follow-through is still just a fantasy. It's not the truth. And you are too awake now to keep living in illusions. You know what real love feels like? It feels like clarity. It doesn't hide. It doesn't make you check. It doesn't silence your voice or make you question your reality. It shows up and says, I choose you. Not when I'm ready. Not when I've exhausted my options. Not when it's convenient. I choose you now because I recognize your value and I refuse to fumble it. That's love. And until that kind of love finds you, you wait in peace, not in pain. You build your life so full of joy, purpose, and passion that anyone who enters knows they're stepping into something sacred. They're not saving you, they're joining you. You see, you were never meant to be rescued. You were meant to be revealed to yourself. Because the moment you stop chasing people who don't care, that's the moment you begin discovering who you are. And when you start showing up as her, the woman who's whole, healed, powerful, and undeniable, you don't attract love that confuses you. You attract love that honors you, the kind that brings peace, not pressure, support, not silence, consistency, not chaos, but it starts with you. You've got to stop writing poetry for people who only speak in damage. Stop crafting novels for men who haven't even read the introduction. Stop telling the world about someone who barely knows how to hold a conversation about your feelings. Because every time you accept less, you delay what's meant. Every time you lower the bar, you build a bridge for confusion to walk back in. Every time you silence your instincts, you give fear the mic, but not anymore. From today, your silence will no longer protect someone's comfort. You will speak, you will walk, you will set the standard. You will not apologize for being the storm and the calm. Because baby, you can be soft and still say no. You can be gentle and still set boundaries. You can love deeply and still walk away when that love isn't being returned. You are not hard to love. You're just not easy to manipulate. And that is why he lost you. Not because you weren't beautiful, not because you weren't worthy, not because you were too much, but because he was too small for what you carry, too distracted to see your depth. too selfish to match your energy, too confused to deserve your clarity. So stop mourning the loss of someone who never saw you clearly. He didn't reject you, he revealed himself. And you gained yourself back. You got your voice back, your joy back, your future back. Let that be the win. Let that be the turning point. Let that be the moment you rise and walk into a new era. The era where you are no longer accessible to confusion. The era where your love becomes sacred ground, not open pasture for anyone to wander through. You see, a healed woman is a force. She no longer makes homes out of people. She no longer throws pearls at people who only want pebbles. She no longer negotiates with red flags. She recognizes them and exits without explanation. And now that woman is you. You don't need closure. You are the closure. You are the final chapter in someone else's unfinished story and the first line of your own rebirth. So walk tall, walk boldly, and don't look back, not even for curiosity, because behind you is confusion. Ahead of you is peace. Behind you is a man who couldn't see your light. Ahead of you is a life that refuses to dim it. And if there's one thing I want you to remember, it's this. He was never confused. He just didn't care enough to be clear. And now you care enough about yourself to let him go. And that right there, that's the beginning of every. You know what's even more dangerous than a man who's not into you? A woman who finally sees it. A woman who stops twisting herself into shapes just to be liked. A woman who doesn't edit her standards to fit someone's inconsistency. A woman who stops measuring her worth through the eyes of someone who never truly looked. That woman, she's a wildfire because she no longer asks the wrong people how she should feel about herself. She no longer clings to lukewarm energy, hoping it will somehow boil over into passion. She no longer pours herself into someone who only shows up with empty hands. She finally learns that love should never feel like punishment. Love should not deplete you. Love should not drain your spirit or leave you guessing what you did wrong. Love should not show up late and expect applause. And it sure as hell should not require you to abandon yourself just to be chosen. So now she reclaims her seat at her own table, the one she built. And anyone who approaches that table had better come correct, not with games, not with distraction, not with vague intentions or half-hearted presence, but with integrity, with clarity, with courage. Because a healed woman, she's not available for confusion. She's not seduced by charm anymore. She's checking character. She's not flattered by attention. She's watching consistency. She doesn't need butterflies. She needs backbone. And here's the shift. She stops waiting for him to text first, waiting for him to figure it out, waiting for some magical moment where everything makes sense. She realizes the wait was never about him. It was about her. She was waiting on herself, waiting for the courage to let go, waiting for the strength to choose herself, waiting for the moment when she could look in the mirror and finally say, I'm done negotiating with what hurts. And now that moment has arrived. She looks in the mirror and sees a woman who doesn't break when someone leaves, because she no longer builds her home in someone else's presence. She's her own home now, her own anchor, her own soft place to land. And when she loves again, because she will love again, it won't be from emptiness, it'll be from overflow. She'll love with discernment, not desperation. She'll give from abundance, not niche. She'll welcome love, not chase it, because she knows now anything you have to chase is running away from you. And she's not in the business of chasing anymore. She's walking in purpose. She's aligning with peace. She's moving with the power that doesn't ask, it declares. I'm not available for confusion. I don't entertain inconsistency. I am not here to make you see me. I see myself, and that's enough. Do you feel that? That's freedom. That's what happens when a woman stops waiting for clarity and becomes, when she stops praying for closure and decides she is the final chapter, when she stops making herself smaller to fit into a man's empty promises. She doesn't shrink anymore. She expands. She becomes, she evolves. And let me be clear, this isn't about becoming cold or hard. This isn't about building walls or wearing bitterness like armor. This is about knowing your value so deeply that confusion is no longer seductive, because confusion is chaos dressed as potential. And once you learn to recognize it, it loses all its charm. The I'm just not ready. The I'm trying to figure myself out. The I'm bad at expressing feelings. Those aren't traits, they're warnings. And a healed woman, she listens to warnings. She no longer paints red flags white just to feel wanted. She doesn't romanticize the struggle. She doesn't call manipulation passion. She doesn't confuse tension with love. She walks not out of anger, but out of awareness. And you know what's wild? The moment she does, everything shifts. The men who once ignored her start watching. The ones who took her for granted start regretting. But it's too late. because once a woman learns that peace is better than attention, she doesn't go back. Once she experiences what it feels like to wake up without anxiety in her chest, wondering if she's still good enough for someone who won't even communicate properly, she refuses to trade that peace for another lesson in heartbreak. She stops replaying conversations in her mind, stops analyzing tone shifts, stops decoding emojis. She's done with that because she finally knows real love won't make her beg for clarity. Real love speaks plainly. It says, I want you and I'm going to show it. It doesn't disappear when things get deep. It doesn't push her away when she gets too real. It shows up every day, unapologetically. And when it does, she doesn't have to prepare a PowerPoint presentation on her worth. She doesn't have to pretend to be less or more to be accepted. She just is. And that is more than enough. So let this be the moment you stop making excuses for men who've already shown you they're not serious. Let this be the season where you stop trying to fix, convince, or decode anyone. Let this be the era where you fall so in love with your own presence that the only people who make it into your life are the ones who honor it. No more confusion, no more delayed responses, no more hot and cold energy, no more almost, no more waiting rooms. You are no longer waiting, you are rising. And anyone who wants to stand beside you must come ready, not perfect, but present, not polished, but consistent, not promising potential, but proving pursuit. Because the woman you are now, she doesn't bend for love, she aligns with it. And anything that doesn't align, it gets left behind.